Now enjoy the show, The Voice 17104, a station for everyone.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hope everything is fine, everything is well with you and your family, your neighborhood and community. I'm here as your host, Ellis or Roy Jr., and I'm with Pastor Chris Thomas.
Welcome back, sir. Welcome back.
Here at the Voice 17104. A lot going on, folks. A lot going on. Now we're in our final phases of this election season. You know, November 5th will be here before you know it. And we should all be busy trying to elect Kamala Harris. You know, because we're at a crucial point in this country. You know what I mean? If all of you, or at least some of you, most of you, took what I said the last time we were here together and start researching Project 2025, which Trump, this guy, you know, wishes to implement on day one, should he become the commander-in-chief again, which would be a terrible thing for us, Americans. So that can't happen. That can't happen. We're tired of the lies and hypocrisy delivered by this man. This man lies without impunity. He lies just to have something to do. I remember sitting in my living room the other night, he was on the television. And one of my nieces said, Uncle Rick, there go that Trumper guy. I said, yeah? Yeah, he's talking. I said, oh yeah, it means his mouth is moving. He said, yes. I said, that means he's lying. He's lying. And when you have somebody that is a psychopathic liar, a pathological liar, as those who are in the field of psychology and sociology and psychiatry, you know, this is a dangerous individual, obsessed with power. Not power for you and I, power for himself. I was listening to the brother, Augusta Corbett, of the Defiant Lawyers. It's him and his daughter. He's one part and she's the other part. He was going over many subjects that he goes over, and watching his deliveries on YouTube and other places. His brother was going over Project 2025 and dealing with black men who support Trump, which I found that fascinating all in itself. How can any black man support Trump? But I'm not naive to the Ben Carsons of the world. You know, that clown's name in Congress? Donald or something like that. He black, or that's question. That got a question mark to it. You know, Tim Scott. You know, and he's really a fool. And that ignorant buffoon down there in North Carolina. Talking about he don't have no problem with. I think he was on that other idiot girl. What's her name? Candace. She's a clown too. Candace Owens, that's it. So, and he talking about he the answer to say some guy was on her show, and she asked him a question, and he said, "Well, if I was on there, I'd have told him." You told him what? I ain't got no problem with things going back to where they used to be. I just stared at the screen, listening to this ignorant fool. I said, Trump supporter, huh? What do you think you're going to get out of it? What did he do for you the first time he was in office? Nothing. That's exactly what he intends to do for you the second time. Because Trump is a racist. His history shows you that. You forget about the Central Park Five? Those guys were children at the time. He took out a full-page ad in the New York Times calling for their execution. So that tells me he ain't got no problem killing kids. That's why he separated. Don't forget that. Hold the Central Park Five in your mind that he's calling for their execution. But you remember, that was just before. When he became president, he separated mothers from their children at the southern border. Some of the people still haven't found their kids yet. How do you separate a child from his parents and don't keep a record? What was you doing separating the child from the parent anyway? Didn't you think that son or daughter needed their mother or their father? Didn't you think that? You didn't care. You treated them like livestock. Well, the horses go over here, the cows go over there, sheep go over here. These are human beings. They didn't care anything about that. And neither did the GOP. They didn't care nothing about that either. See, folks, you have to understand when you think of the Republican Party. And you say, oh, well, it was, George Bush and George H.W. Bush, and Ronald Reagan, even though he was no stellar or person either. Well, none of that was bad as Trump. Because what he has done is made that party over in his image. And the grand old Republican Party, those that still believe in it, are now known as rhinos. Republicans in name only. Really? Because they believe in the rule of law. Because they believe in democracy. They believe and defend the Constitution of the United States. All the things Trump do not believe in. So they target enemies. Now these fellow Republicans. Enemy. This is a very dangerous man. And any scholar, especially scientific scholars, will tell you small-minded men in powerful positions are the most dangerous people in the world. That's Donald Trump. The very small-minded man with a very narrow perception. That's why Project 2025 appeals to him immensely, because there were small-minded men that put it together. Men who seek power and control. Most of them that worked on Project 25 was in his former administration. You say, well, what does that have to do with me? Well, read it. Don't buy it. Don't support them. You can go online and read it. It's how brazen these uncouth individuals are. So brazen they are. They put online. Put it. I mentioned before, how you think they tried the people in Nuremberg? The Nazis. I think they wrote everything down. Documented it. The atrocities that they did to the Jews. Well, Americans didn't learn that. They write everything down too. The things that they did to us. It's in the history book. How you think Ron DeSantis and all them fools in Florida trying to alter the books or get rid of burn the books, and we're going to give us a new history. Like the old history can be erased. See, all that fits together, folks. Do your research. They want the kids to learn that slavery was a job opportunity. You have to laugh at that foolishness or you'll go insane. A job opportunity. Being beaten, raped, murdered. That's a job opportunity. That's the lies that they want to replace history with. They want to create their history for us. And not just African Americans, Hispanic Americans, Japanese Americans. See, they want to burn the books that said how they put Japanese Americans in internment camps in this country. Well, don't forget that. A lot of you were too young to put this in the book. Because it actually happened. Right here. In America. During World War II. They put Japanese Americans. A lot of them had never been to Japan. But they just happened to be Japanese. They were born here. It made them United States citizens. They took them because they were of Japanese descent, put them in internment camps. You know what a internment camp is? A concentration camp. Think about that. They made the blacks who asked for reparations. They paid them. Yes, it did. For putting them in internment camps. They paid the Germans for mistreating them, and the Germans was trying to tear their head off. Think about these things, people, and you'll know why it's important for you to vote. You know why it's important for everybody in your family who is eligible to vote. Everybody in your neighborhood, everybody in your community, everybody in your state. Why it's important to vote for Kamala Harris. Those that forget history, this old saying, those that forget history is doomed to repeat it. Don't forget history. This is a great country, but it has a dark past. A very dark past. I think you're trying to sweep under the rug. Do better. Don't sweep it under the rug. Own it. You did it. Own it. But do better. That's all you do. Simply do better. But don't sweep it under the rug like it didn't happen. It did happen. It most certainly happened. Did all kinds of funny little things to the people in this country till you realize that you wasn't fulfilling your purpose. So you got to understand racism is the excuse. Greed is the purpose. They were racist only against us. So we're just the long-standing racists. Because we're clearly identifiable. Well, they did it to the Irish. They first came here. They did it to the Italians when they first came here. The original racism was done against the Indians, the natural inhabitants of this country. The first, they go indigenous people. They certainly are. They are the original occupiers of this land. Here you come on the Mayflower. Full of criminals. Any level of criminal in the world was on that Mayflower because that's what the king did. He emptied out the jails. So get them out of here. They put them on the boat. And they shipped them here. And they brought all that foolishness right with them that exists to this very day. Passed from one generation to the next. Then they start running the con. Hey, they built nothing in this country. You and I did. In the history books. And they got rich off it. They get mad at you when you want wealth. And they got so good at it that where do you think their generation of wealth came from? You and I. if you got a bunch of people doing a bunch of work and none of them getting paid, and you reaping the benefits, what do you think will happen? Were they sharing the wealth? No. So they put a system in place to assure that the wealth wasn't going to be shared. They have this mediocrity scam now. If you work hard and you get it, then you'll succeed. How long they been telling that lie? But you never seem to reach that plateau. Why? Because there's a method built into the system to make sure you never reach that plateau. That's how they maintain their wealth. Nobody's talking about that. And what they fear is fair-minded politicians, such as Sister Harris, Jasmine Crockett, Sister Crockett. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Sister Cortez, Alexander Acosta, fair-minded. Alien Omar. They scared to death of them. Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi, one of the most powerful women in the United States. They say what they want to say. They scared to death of Nancy Pelosi. And she's an elder now. Hillary Clinton. We mentioned them names around, they whole face contorts. Scared to death of Michelle Obama. Mention Michelle's name, their whole face stands up. Why? Peace, justice, and the American way is what these women talk about. Equality, justice, and peace. This is what these women talk about. Well, why would you be upset about that? Get out there and do everything you can, folks, to assure that Donald J. Trump don't get anywhere near the White House again. The people's house. It's not Donald Trump's house. It is the people's house. Justice for all. That's what the house stands for. It hasn't always done that, because some of the occupants of that house was horrible people. But the worst of them was Donald. Make sure that you organize, support the campaigns of your choice amongst the Democratic Party. Diligently work. Recruit your friends and neighbors to assure Trump is given one of the biggest losses he's ever gotten in his life. Send a clear message and nobody like you should ever occupy the White House ever again. No more lies that you wish us to believe. Take all your MAGA imps with you. Destroy that movement because it is detrimental to you and I. It is detrimental to the United States of America, and it's extremely detrimental to democracy under the Constitution, guaranteed under the Constitution of the United States. All that MAGA foolishness is detrimental to America. Under democracy, we can work on our differences and our problems. Under dictatorship, you ain't working on nothing. Ask those that have served under dictatorship if they survived. It's a pleasure talking to you, always. You know, and I appreciate being here with you. Any questions or comments, leave them down below. And we'll make sure we get back to you. Answer any questions you have. And let's move forward. Because we're not going back. It's like society said, no. We're not going back. Have a nice day, folks. Take care.